Okay, so hello, good day everyone. Welcome grade 11 senior high school students. So, how are you guys? How are you class? So, for today, we will have a video lesson with regards to the topic that we will have for today. So, I am encouraging everyone to please take down notes. Bring out your notebooks, your lecture notebooks, and annotate information that will help you in future endeavors. Okay po. Also, I am encouraging everyone to document yourself as you are watching this video lesson. And lastly, I am reminding everyone that there is an assessment or a quiz at the end of this discussion. So please focus and watch and listen to the things that I will say later. Okay po. Again, welcome grade 11 senior high school students. So let us start. Okay, so class, how are you? Are you doing well? How's your study? How's your modular classes that you are experiencing at the moment because of the suspension of classes because of the high heat index? Okay, how are you? I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone's doing fine. So, I am reminding everyone to please stay hydrated. Okay po? So, napakainit po. Please, wag na pong lumabas, wag na pong magbilad-bilad. Okay po. So, going back with our discussion, as I've said, so today we will have another discussion or another lesson for this quarter. Okay po? Okay. Okay, class. So before we jump in before we dig into our today's discussion, let's just have a recap on what we talked about last meeting. So last meeting we discussed the module number 6 for fourth quarter. So it is entitled as formulating evaluative statements about a text read. Okay po. So we discussed different terminologies associating evaluative statement, and we emphasized the evaluative statement itself. So it is being said that evaluative statement, okay, requires comprehensive understanding before one can come up with formulating a statement which is being evaluated. Okay po. So when we say evaluative statement, it requires detailed and careful understanding of what you are reading. So we are not just basically um, plainly reading the text, but we are carefully understanding it. So when we are evaluating a statement, you must just you must justify, okay, or give explanation as it requires the evaluator to form assertions or counter claims. So class, remember that in evaluating a statement, we can label it as either positive or negative. So all we need is to assess and comprehend what the statement wants us to understand. So just like what you have done with your assignment or with your activity in which you label different arguments, either it is positive or negative. So class, also be reminded that in evaluating statement, we are not just looking to the positive, or we are not just looking to the negative, but we are looking to the both positive and negative, of course, to avoid bias. Okay, next. Okay, so as I've said, we will have another discussion or another lesson for today, which is entitled Determining Textual Evidence. Okay, so it is under the module number 7 of fourth quarter. Okay, okay. So before we have our discussion about textual evidence, I have here a mini activity. So all you need to do is to infer the individuals who are being described in the following statements. So I'll give a statement and all you have to do is to tell me or to know what is being described in the statement. For example, the statement that will be presented later is this one. I teach students and give new learnings. So the answer will be, of course, teacher. So as easy as that. So are you ready? So you may write your answer in your scratch or in the scratch of your notebook, or you may write it on your lecture notebook. Okay, so let us start the activity entitled What Am I? Okay. So the first statement, what am I? I can mend your broken pipes and taps. Again, I can mend your broken pipes and taps. What am I? Okay, so let us see what am I? It is a plumber. Okay po. Okay, so the answer is plumber. Next statement. I clean your teeth and check for cavities. Again, I clean your teeth and check for cavities. So what am I? Okay, the answer will be dentist. Okay, next statement. I can show people around famous places. So what am I? What do you think am I? If your answer is tour guide, of course you're correct. So a tour guide can show people around famous places. Next, I help in taking care of your garden and lawn. Again, I help in taking care of your garden and lawn. What am I? Okay, the answer is gardener. Okay po, so if your answer is gardener, then you're okay, so let us have the last statement. I fight terrorists and protect our country's sovereignty. Again, I fight terrorists and protect our country's sovereignty. What am I? So if your answer is military personnel, then your answer is correct. So that those statements are our activity. Okay. Okay, so again, that activity is connected with what we will talk about today, in which it is all about determining textual evidence. Okay? Okay, so before we jump in with what are the things about associating with textual evidence, of course, it is important for us to know what is a textual evidence first. Okay po, so let us know what is textual evidence. Okay, so textual evidence is gathered from the original source or other text that supports an argument or a thesis. So textual evidence are the details given by the author to prove or support his or her claim. So it is a proof from the text to support one answer. So it makes your claim stronger and helps you as the author prove your point. Again, textual evidence from the word evidence, okay? These are details or information that the author used, okay, to make his claim strong. Okay po, so textual evidence is being used to support someone's claim. Okay, so we already discussed in our previous discussion that our goal in critically reading a text is to know and understand the arguments made by the author. So these arguments can be a claim or a counterclaim. So let us have some review or some recap on what is the difference between claim and counterclaim. So first, claim, it is the writer's point or argument of something. So when we say claim, it is the central argument or central idea of the text, while counterclaim is the rebuttal. Okay po. So it provides an opposing viewpoint. Again, counterclaim provides an opposing viewpoint. So it is the argument in which it opposes the claim. Okay? So it is we are clear with what is a claim and counter claim. So class, claim and counterclaim are essential as it both help determine textual evidence. Again, claim and counterclaim are essential as it both help determine textual evidence. Okay, so to better evaluate author's argument, of course, you should be able to determine the evidence from the text. So allowing you to validate the assertions of the author and your own counterclaims as a response to reading. Okay, so next, so textual evidence is all about how we see the argument, in which it is the claim and counter claim. So as I've said, claim and counter claim are essential in determining the textual evidence, right? So once the parties have made their claims and counterclaims, they introduce the reasoning, okay? Reasoning or the reasons behind their arguments and present evidences to support those claims. Okay, so again, when someone know if um it is a claim or they are asserting that claim or they are rebuting or counterclaiming that claim, they provide reasons. Okay, they provide reasons why they are agreeing or why they are disagreeing, and those reasons were supported by by okay, what we call evidences. Okay, so that is the importance of having evidences. Okay, um and this um this system is what we call the claim counterclaim system. So the claim counterclaim system is used to make points in essays and scientific papers. So although reasons are critical to supporting a claim, without evidence, they carry little weight. So an audience is unlikely to be persuaded to accept a claim based on reasons alone. So particularly if that audience holds a drastically different position than you or the author. So again, our goal is to make our reader believe or to be persuaded on what we are claiming and not counterclaiming on what we are asserting. So this through the use of evidences, okay, um, we can persuade our readers to agree with what we are trying to say. Okay, next. Okay, so textual evidence is stated in two forms. So we have the explicit textual evidence and implicit textual evidences. So implicit and explicit are commonly terminologies that we have discussed, okay, before. Okay po. Again, when we say explicit, it is clearly stated, while implicit, it is unclear or this is not directly stating facts. So textual evidence often requires a large amount of critical thinking, especially when dealing with implied evidence. So again, when we say explicit, the evidences are directly and clearly stated, while implicit, you need to know, okay, that if that idea is the evidence. Okay, so again, explicit, clearly stated or directly stated. Implicit, there are clues or there are behind meaning of that certain idea or not directly stating the given evidence in a given text. Okay, again, we have two forms, which is the explicit and implicit textual evidence. Okay, next. Okay, next, textual evidence can include the following. So, what can be included in um a textual evidence? So, what are the things that we may include in order for us to know if that is the textual evidence or that is the proof of that idea? Okay, we have first the facts and statistics. So, when we say facts and statistics, it is the objectively validated information on your subject. So these are the true information about the idea of the text. Of course, you will be persuaded or you will believe a certain text if it includes facts and statistics, the percentage, the research data, just like that. And next, we also have the opinion from expert. So even if it's opinion or the personal judgment of the expert, it can also be included as a textual evidences because these are the leading authorities on a topic such as researchers or academics. Since these experts were professional on that specific field or on that specific idea, their opinions became an evidence to support a claim. And lastly, personal anecdotes were also included as a textual evidences because it is the first-hand experiences of the people who experience that thing. So their experiences matters as it became a primary source of that specific evidence. So we are clear with the different things that we may consider as a textual evidence of a certain text. Next. Okay, so after knowing all of those things, let us proceed with this one, the characteristics of a good evidence. So these things are the things that we need to be reminded or we need to keep in mind in order for us to have a good evidence. So we have five. So class, these five characteristics are very self-explanatory. So when we are looking for the textual evidences of a given text, we need to make sure that the evidence we found shows, of course, unity or oneness to the idea we are talking about. Let us also make sure that it is relevant, since if it's not, then it will make no sense. We also need to make sure that specificity and concreteness should also be considered, as well as the accuracy. And lastly, be sure that your evidence is representative or typical to the idea to make it more understandable to the reader. So these five characteristics are the ingredients of making good evidence to make our claim, okay, powerful or believable to the readers. Again, these five characteristics should be um should be the things that we that will be our basis in order for us to have a good evidence. So when we are also evaluating a text or when we are reading a text, these five characteristics are the things that we will look. Okay po? So dito po tayo titingin. Ito yung magiging basehan or criteria natin about that certain text. Okay? Next. Okay, so after knowing the different characteristics of a textual evidence, of a good textual evidence, after also knowing the things that we can consider as textual evidence, we also discuss how we present, okay, textual evidence, or how we look at for a textual evidence, which is the implicit and explicit. Now we will discuss the different steps as strategies in examining any kind of text. So this would be the last part. So finding evidence in fiction or non-fiction text follows the same steps. So no matter what kind of text you are examining, you need to follow these steps for you to be able to determine the textual evidence that is presented to the work. So of course, the very first step to do is to read and analyze the point of the author. So this is the very first part. So we need to read and understand the question or the claim made by the author. Next, it is followed by deeply analyze, assess, and evaluate the claim of the given text to find the answer from the evidences that you found when you are critically reading it. So we need to closely read the text to find the answer. We are not just plainly reading the text, but we are closely reading the text. Okay, let's proceed to the next steps. Okay, so the third step is that you need to note or to put the inferences and quotations that will be helpful to support the claim. Again, when we say inferences, these are the educated guess of the author. Again, inferences, these are the educated guess of the author. So these are the conclusions based on the evidences, okay, that you have and derived from the observations and prior knowledge that you have. Okay? Then after that, after noting inferences and quotations, the fourth one is to analyze, okay? Is to analyze the evidences. So, of course, you should answer the question how these evidences became helpful in supporting the claim and what makes the evidences strong. So does it pass the characteristics that we have discussed a while ago? Next, last step for this one. Okay, so the last step is very important. Okay, so when you are citing the evidence, make sure to have the sentence starters. Okay, so these sentence starters are this one. Okay, the according to the text, then proceed on page, then the page number, the author stated, and one example of this from the text blank. So these sentence starters are essential, okay? And this will help you to clearly show the quotations of the text and how it became evidences to support the claim. Again, when you are looking or when you are writing your textual evidences, you need to use sentence starters. Okay, again, sentence starters. So those are the 5 steps as strategies in examining any kind of text. Okay, so you may use this as a guide or as an example on how you will have your textual evidences or how you will look for a textual evidence in a certain text. So, according to the text, which is our sentence starter followed by a comma, of course, punctuation is a must. You need also to use quotation marks before the direct quote or the quote from the text, and then followed by the period and then the quotation marks again. So again, this guide, this example, you may use this example or you may use this guide in when you are looking for the textual evidence that is presented to that certain text. So most of the time, when looking for a textual evidence, most of the time there is a sentence starter. So that is your signal words, okay, signal phrases when you are looking for a textual evidence. Okay. Okay, so again, class, our topic our topic for today is all about determining textual evidence. Okay, so we discuss, okay, the different terminologies, different concepts about textual evidence. Again, when we say textual evidence, it is all about the details or the information that the author used to prove his or her claim. Okay, so textual evidence are essential, of course, in critically reading a text. Or yeah. Okay. Okay, so again, class, textual evidence is very helpful. Not just because when there are textual evidence, it is good to hear. Not just because of that. But it is very helpful because it emphasizes our point. Okay? So just think of this way. So suppose that you are the lawyer, you are this man, okay, who is presenting a court case that will have a great impact to people without any evidence. So the judge calls on you, okay, to approach the bench and present your case, and you have no forensic data, no eyewitness, no accounts, no evidences, nothing. So does it sound good? Of course not. So is writing an essay without textual evidence. So just like that scenario, no matter how fluent, no matter how grammatically correct, no matter how you have correct punctuation, no matter how organized your essay, without evidences, all arguments that you are trying to say will be useless. Again, so that is the importance of having textual evidence. It is the backbone of the given text. Again, in determining textual evidence of a given text, we are using our comprehension or understanding in understanding that text, or in knowing that text. Okay? Okay, so I hope you don't have any questions, clarifications, but if you have, you may again contact me to clarify things. Okay? If you have question, you may contact me. Just tell me your name and your section and then your concern. Okay? Next. Okay, so class, after reaching or after watching this video lesson, please open the Google form that we will send to you. So together with this video lesson link, we also sent you a Google form. Okay. So, also a gentle reminder to everyone. So, this quiz or this assessment is used to know your learning about the lesson. So, please, class, be honest and avoid cheating. So, I trust everyone, okay? So, even if this is just online, okay, I am trusting everyone. Okay po? So remember, you only have one time, okay, to open and answer this quiz. And please read every statement with understanding. Also, please make sure to screenshot your work or your quiz when you are done for you to be able to have a proof. Again, class, isang beses lang po kayo pwedeng magsagot ng quiz na ito. Okay? Again, read every statement, read the instruction. Okay? So again, class, that is our quiz. Okay? Okay, so I hope everything's clear to everyone. I hope you learn a lot. So I am hoping for the next meeting or next lesson, I will be able, I have the chance to discuss it with you face to face. But still, because of the situation that we have now, of course, please stay at home and please be hydrated. Stay hydrated, everyone. Okay? So again, this is Ma'am Danica, and this is the module number 7 entitled Determining Textual Evidence. Again, if you have questions, clarifications, concerns, or others, you may contact me or you may message us for clarification. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of our lesson. Goodbye and thank you, class. Okay, so please answer the quiz or the assessment after you reach this part. Okay, so stay safe, everyone. God bless and goodbye.